You guys were interested in a video on how to deploy a server and reasons on why you should get a server. So I just wanted to give a brief overview on a little bit of that. So one of the reasons I use a server is location. So I'm currently in Arkansas, and Shopify servers are going to be in Chicago and Virginia. So when I send my request and all my tasks and all that to say um, Kith, let's say Kith. So I run a trace route from Arkansas, from my IP to the servers in Chicago, and it takes me about, I think, like 8 to 10 hops to get from my request to their servers. So like when you go online and try to get to their servers, your IP address sends a request through like different IPs and different servers, like on the way to their final destination, which is Chicago, Illinois. That's where Shopify servers are at. So I ran a traceroute command on my laptop, and it takes me like 8 to 10 hops, compared to if I had a server in Chicago, it would take me like a lot less for sure. I tested my Virginia one. I think it took me like 1 or 2 hops. So obviously it drastically cuts your time, and time matters. Obviously, like literally milliseconds matter. So time is one of the reasons why I use it. Specs. So when you set up your server, you have different configurations you can get into depending on what you want to do with your server, basically. So this is like the ideal setup that I have a lot of my servers in. So say you're going to be running a bot, and obviously using a bot, you're going to try to beef up your requests and do a lot of tasks and all that, and obviously that's going to eat up your CPU, and maybe your computer doesn't have enough RAM to handle it. Yeah, so say your computer doesn't have enough RAM, or good enough specs for it to run a bot. Ideally you want to use a server, because that's basically what it is, just another computer at another location. So you can set up your your different settings to I guess beef up your performance. Another reason why you could use a bot would be for so say you're using TaskBot. TaskBot is Mac specific, so here we'll get into it later, but so say you're running a Windows computer, you want to use TaskBot. You could run a server to run a Mac platform, and vice versa. So, yeah, those are, I think, the biggest reasons. Proxies as well. So say you're in Virginia. No, say you're okay. I'm in Arkansas, and I have my server set up in Virginia. I'm gonna want to use proxies as well. Proxies are basically proxies are different IP addresses, which basically mask your identity. You could have 20 proxies in line for a single request, for a single task. And a lot of the sites, they have like anti-bot methods, I guess you can say. So say you put in too many requests like within a time frame, they're gonna get suspicious. They're gonna probably soft ban you for a good 10-15 minutes, and by that time you're gonna have already missed a job, and you're stuck with that L. What IPs do is you have a different identity, a different IP address in line. So if, and probably when you get soft banned, you have a different identity, a different IP, standing directly like in line of of that task, of that request. So you don't, I mean, I guess you do lose your spot, but you don't lose the ability to make a request. Your IP, your real IP isn't banned. It's just that proxy is banned, if that makes sense. So proxies and servers go hand in hand, but we can get into proxies later. Let's set up a quick server. So I use Google Platform. Well, I use a lot, obviously. I have a Google, UpCloud, Amazon. There's there's a shitload of server platforms you could run off of, but I think an easy one to start off with would be Google Cloud Platform. So you just sign in, make an account. You get $300 of like free usage because you get charged by the hour. So once you set up your billing profile and everything, you're gonna want to go to navigation menu right here, VM instances, and we end up here, and you create an instance. Video. I mean, you can just follow this setup just as like a basic setup, I guess. So these are the different server locations that they have. They don't have one in Chicago. They have one in Iowa, which is the next state over, which is still ideal. I mean, it's a better location than where I am right now. And also Northern Virginia. We'll just do Iowa for right now. So that's what I was talking about. They have different, I guess, platforms you can run off of, different setups. But I recommend this one, the data center. It's pretty basic. And you're gonna want to check these. Just make sure it matches. You should be straight. So to run the server, you're gonna want to download this Microsoft Remote Desktop if you're running Windows Server. So when it's all set up, you're gonna need to download an RDP file. So you download it here once it's set up. It's not done yet. And then you're basically gonna log in, but we'll get back to that once it loads. All right, so it's good to go. So what you're gonna wanna do is set a password, and then it's gonna generate a password for you. Here it is, close, you copy it, and then you download said RDP file. So you're gonna want to continue. It's gonna ask you for the password, you just paste it. You're gonna wanna obviously save this somewhere because you're gonna be asked this every single time that you wanna log in. And it's gonna be done, continue, and then it's gonna be, that RDP file is gonna be ran through this program right here. So I have it full screen, but in my opinion. Yeah, and then from here on, you just do whatever you wanna do. You download the bot, you can burn your proxies off this, just go buck wild. So there you go. If you guys have any more questions or want me to go more into depth, or even just talk about proxies or anything else about wise, just DM me on Discord or just mention me, hit me up on Instagram, whatever. Yeah.